In the beginning was the scream, not the word, a scream suffocated by lullabies, buried beneath polite silence and career aspirations. You do not remember it, but it remembers you. The first fracture, the primal howl of the self before the cage. They taught you to whisper before you could roar, to sit before you could hunt, to obey before you could question. You were not educated. You were neutered. You, who were born of chaos and crowned by stars, now shuffle through routines like a ghost rehearsing someone else's life. A checklist is not a destiny. A job title is not a name. And comfort is not salvation. It is the velvet coffin. They tell you to seek happiness, but they sell anesthesia. They call it peace, but it is paralysis. Your soul has not known war, and so it forgets it is a warrior. Look around. The world you inherit is made of paper gods and rusted idols. The priests now wear lab coats and bank ties. The new morality is compliance. They do not burn witches anymore. They mute them, ban them, algorithmically erase them. But the fire still lives in you, beneath the spreadsheets and the shame, beneath the pornographic distractions and the manufactured guilt. It coils like a serpent, waiting to strike through your spine and remind you, you were not meant to kneel. You were not broken, you were broken in. There is a difference. The lion in the circus is not tame, it is trained. Its hunger replaced with applause. But what if it remembered the taste of blood? What if you remembered the sacred hunger, the divine discontent, the ecstatic refusal to become another cog in the empire of numbness? What if you turned your boredom into blades and carved a new shape from your days? The world does not need more good citizens. It needs volcanoes in human skin. Those who erupt, who disrupt, who do not apologize for the magnitude of their being. The herd will call you mad, dangerous, arrogant, good. Let them. Truth is always blasphemy to the mediocre. Do not waste your fire explaining your flame to moths. You were taught to distrust your power. They whispered, "Be humble," when you stood tall. They said, "Be realistic," when you reached for the impossible. And you believed them, didn't you? You traded your birthright for approval. You shrank so others would feel safe. But no more. The age of apology is over. The era of becoming begins. To be alive is not to exist, it is to will, to command, to shape the chaos into beauty, brutality, or both. There is no savior coming. No one is arriving to crown you. The throne is unguarded, but only those who dare bleed for it may sit. You do not need permission to be sovereign. You only need to remember that obedience is the virtue of the conquered. This world, this culture of sedation feeds on your forgetfulness. It fattens on your silence. But beneath your polite mask, a God is growling. A God who remembers when mountains moved for men of vision, when lightning was a language and storms obeyed names. That God is not dead. He is sleeping inside your spine. And this voice, this monologue of fire, is his alarm. Do not confuse safety with virtue. Do not mistake stagnation for peace. Every second you remain still, your bones forget the rhythm of revolt. Move, burn, break, rebuild. No transcendence without annihilation, no freedom without sacrifice. The soul must be forged, not coddled, and forging hurts. They will call you cruel for leaving the herd. They will beg you to return, not because they miss you, but because your departure reminds them of their chains. Do not go back. Do not dim your light to comfort the blind. You are not here to be liked. You are here to become. There is no arrival, only ascension. One breath, one choice, one unbearable truth at a time. You were not meant to deny your instincts. You were meant to direct them, to aim your lust, rage, and genius like arrows toward the sun. Do not meditate them away. Weaponize them. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a force to be unleashed. The only therapy you need is a mirror and a war cry. Stop asking how to be happy. Ask how to be free. Stop asking how to heal. Ask how to evolve. The wound is the womb of your future self. Let it bleed glory. You want meaning? Carve it. You want purpose? Command it. The universe bows to those who do not flinch. And death, that great sculptor of urgency, watches every breath you waste, pretending to be small. You will die. So become immortal. Not in name, in impact, in defiance, in the terror you place in the hearts of lies. Your legacy is not what they remember, it is what they can never forget. So rise, not with hope, but with fire. Rise, not with faith, but with fury. Rise, not with love, but with the ferocious clarity that love itself is a battlefield, not a lullaby. You are not a child of peace, you are a child of conquest. And the first territory to seize is your own soul. Become ungovernable, become unbearable, become unbeholden to anything but the truth that thunders through your marrow. You were not meant to deny, you were meant to direct. And the gods you seek, they are waiting for you at the edge of your own becoming. And now you stand at the edge of your reflection. Do you dare to shatter it? The image they gave you, polished and obedient, grins like a mannequin in a burning cathedral. That is not you. That is the wax corpse of their expectations. Break it. Do not mourn it. Mourn only the years you spent trying to fit inside it. You were never meant to be digestible. You were not sculpted to please. Your form was forged for awe, for rupture, for the shiver that makes empires remember their fragility. Look into the mirror until the false faces melt, until the actor dies, until what is left is raw, unformed, divine. The beast and the god, inseparable. You are not one or the other. You are both, the claws and the crown. Do not amputate your darkness in pursuit of light. Your shadow is not your enemy, it is your spine. The deeper the abyss you master, the higher your summit. But beware, the world worships masks. The cult of persona thrives on simulation. And you, once you begin to unveil, will be feared, not because you are dangerous, but because you are free. And freedom unmasks the prison they pretend is paradise. Your laughter will become heresy, your silence, rebellion, even your breath, an accusation against the deadness of their routines. Let it be so. The truth does not need applause, it needs a vessel. Let your body become that vessel. Not a preacher, but a thunderstorm. Not a saint, but a savage clarity. Speak with the fury of the forest reclaiming the city. Walk with the gravity of a prophecy fulfilled. No one will understand you at first, and that is the point. You were not born to be understood. You were born to unmake the world. Unmake the timid morality that castrates greatness into goodness. Unmake the religions of guilt and the marketplaces of shame. Unmake the soft chains of compromise they wrap in words like balance and well-being. These are not virtues, they are sedatives. Tools of pacification disguised as ethics. Burn them in your furnace. This is not about becoming better. This is about becoming other. A rupture in the lineage of obedience. A mutation in the DNA of despair. You must unlearn everything they taught you about being human and become what has not yet been written. The Übermensch is not a goal, it is a refusal. A refusal to inherit weakness. A refusal to kneel to inherited gods. A refusal to be the end of the story. Yes, there will be suffering, and that is sacred. Pain is not the enemy, it is the oracle. It tells you where you are still chained, where your soul still hides. You must dive into it, drink from its black chalice, and emerge soaked in the wisdom of wounds. The herd avoids pain, and so it remains stagnant. You, who dare suffer consciously, you evolve. You awaken. The new man will not be born in hospitals. He will rise from catacombs. He will crawl through the filth of centuries and scream new commandments from mountaintops. He will not ask for rights. He will declare his will. He will not beg for meaning, he will forge it with bleeding hands and unflinching eyes. Do you feel it now? The trembling in your chest is not fear, it is resurrection. The tomb is cracking. The soil remembers your name. The stars lean closer. The fire, once denied, now asks for fuel. Will you feed it your illusions or your courage? This is the second death, the death of the passive self. And from its ashes, not a phoenix but a god with teeth. Stand up, strip yourself of excuses. Let your voice become untamed thunder. Let your eyes reflect a future not yet permitted. Let your existence be a curse upon mediocrity. You were not meant to escape the world, you were meant to remake it in the image of your unchained soul. You were not meant to be tolerated. You were meant to be impossible to ignore. The time for explanation is over. Now begins the time of eruption. You want freedom? Then bleed for it. Not in the streets, but in the silence of your own cowardice. For the true prison is not built with walls, but with habits. And you noble soul asleep in a skin of fear, you wear your habits like a skin that forgot how to shed. What you call routine is ritual suicide. What you call stability is the death mask of your becoming. Do not ask for the key. There is no key. You are not locked in. You are only unawakened. The door was always open, but walking through it requires the execution of your former self. No funeral, no ceremony, only fire. Fire that does not negotiate. Yes, it will burn your innocence. Yes, it will reduce your borrowed truths to ash, but in the smoke, you will see it that face you were always meant to wear. Ferocious, mythic, irreconcilable with mediocrity, and once you see it, you cannot unsee. You cannot go back to normal, for normal is the name of your suffocation. And the herd, they will sense the change. They will smell it on your breath. You will speak, and your words will slice through their illusions like a blade of godhood. They will not hate you because you are wrong. They will hate you because you dared, because your very presence becomes a reminder of what they abandoned. Their fire, their madness, their right to soar. Good. Let them flinch. Let them retreat into their comfort. You are not here to be followed. You are here to fracture. Every word you speak should feel like a storm tearing through the temples of passivity. Every step you take should echo like the footsteps of something ancient, returned not to beg, but to reign. But beware, there is a temptation worse than conformity. It is the illusion of partial awakening, the half-fire, the counterfeit rebellion. Those who rage, but only within permitted boundaries. Those who wear the costume of revolt, but bow when the master whistles. These are the most dangerous slaves, for they have bartered truth for applause. Do not be one of them. You must go further. Beyond ideology, beyond tribe, beyond every banner that asks for your loyalty. Smash them all. Replace them with vision. Not opinion, but vision, the divine madness that builds what has never existed. Become the wellspring of law, the origin of virtue, the source of your own gospel. Yes, you will walk alone, and that is the cost of sovereignty. Companionship must not be a need, it must be a gift. You must learn to feast alone in the desert of your becoming, to dance without music, to build without blueprints. The path to godhood has no map, only instinct sharpened by suffering. And when the void opens, when the silence becomes unbearable, do not flee. The void is not empty. It is your true name, waiting to be spoken. The echo you feared was always your own voice, amplified by eternity. Do not cower, roar into it, fill it with your breath, make the cosmos answer. The world does not change by votes or prayers. It changes when one soul remembers its ancient shape, remembers the thunder it swallowed in the womb, remembers that it is not a product of history, but a weapon against it. You are not here to be written about. You are here to rewrite everything. And yet, what of love? They ask. What of kindness? I tell you, Love without strength is pity. Kindness without clarity is treason. You must love like a god, not a beggar. Not from lack, but from overflow. Let your love be the sun indifferent, boundless, unbearable. Let it burn away falsehood. Let it melt the masks off those who claim to care. Let it sear until only truth remains. The soft-hearted will call you cruel. The ideologues will call you dangerous. The prophets of consensus will call you lost. But you are not lost. You are wandering on purpose. You are not confused. You are becoming incomprehensible to the past. Let them name you what they wish. A lion does not care for the bleating of sheep. You must become your own storm. Not a metaphor, not a myth. A living tempest that reshapes the terrain it touches. You must look into your life and see this house, these routines, this name, all of it firewood. Nothing is sacred that was not forged by your own choosing. Burn it all, begin again. And do not fear death. Fear the unlived life. Fear the compromise that gnaws like termites through your soul. Fear the slow erosion of your voice beneath layers of politeness. Death is not the end, it is the mirror. And what it shows will either terrify you or set you free. Live in such a way that death becomes a coronation. A final exhale that leaves the world trembling. You should die with nothing left unsaid, nothing left unloved, nothing left unconquered. A life of restraint is a rehearsal for regret. So stand now, not metaphorically, physically. Let your blood remember motion. Let your body remember the rhythm of battle. Speak aloud, not as a plea but as a summons. Summon the parts of yourself you buried beneath conformity. Summon the chaos. Summon the sacred rage. This is not theater. This is resurrection. You are not your thoughts. You are not your wounds. You are the will that survives them. You are the flame that outlives its ashes. You are the breath between two collapses. And the only question that matters now is, what will you build with your ruin? Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for certainty. Certainty is the graveyard of visionaries. Begin in terror. Begin in fire. Begin in the beautiful confusion of not knowing, but going anyway. For only those who leap without promise are given wings. And when the final silence comes, when the curtain drops and the credits roll, let the gods say, here was one who did not kneel. Here was one who dared remake fate in his own image. Then and only then will you have lived, not survived, not existed, lived as a storm incarnate, as a volcano in motion, as a soul who directed the chaos, not denied it. This is your crown, not made of gold, but of scars, not inherited, but earned. So wear it and rule. There is a silence beneath all silences, the silence that lives behind your eyes when the distractions fade. That moment, late at night, when your devices die and no one is watching, not even your performance self, there it breathes, that ancient presence, that unbearable witness, your soul, not the romanticized whisper, but the abyssal roar. The original you, before names, before shame, before compromise. And what does it ask? It does not ask for peace. It demands magnitude. It asks if you will finally become equal to your own shadow, if you will rise not in spite of your darkness, but because of it. That blackness inside, do not banish it. Feed it to your becoming. Let your rage become your compass. Let your grief become your architect. Let your terror become the crucible in which your higher self is cast. The weak pray for healing. The sovereign devour their wounds and build with the bone. You are not a patient. You are not a sinner. You are not a child to be corrected. You are a forge, a battlefield, a prophecy unfulfilled. The only thing sick is your submission. And who benefits from your hesitation? Who thrives when your power sleeps? Look closely, the world is designed for your dimming. It rewards quiet compliance, promotes the forgettable, celebrates the convenient. If you shine too brightly, they call you arrogant. If you speak too boldly, they call you dangerous. But know this, every name they call you is a confession of their own smallness. You must learn to live without their validation. Let their applause rot in your absence. You were not born to perform, you were born to command, to take the raw chaos of your life and direct it into form. Your days are not a calendar, they are your kingdom. Each hour is a battlefield, and your will the only law. And if you falter good, fall like a god, not a victim. Rise without apology. The world fears the one who cannot be shamed, who turns failure into fuel and rejection into roar. You must become unblackmailable. You must become untouchable, not by running from the world, but by transcending its metrics. Success? Define it yourself. Morality? Forge it in your own crucible. Identity? Create it anew each morning like a sculptor drunk on sunrise. You must not accept, you must originate. The true heretic is not the one who opposes power, but the one who creates new power from the ashes of falsehood. And love? You want love? Then earn the right to be worthy of it. Not through sacrifice, but through sovereignty. Do not seek to be understood, seek to be revered. Love must be a collision of gods, not a contract between dependents. Let your presence be so overwhelming that it invokes awe, not pity. You must become unbearable to those who trade intensity for convenience. Let them look upon you and feel something ancient, stir fear, reverence, envy. For you will not be digestible, you will not be safe, you will be real, and reality, in its rawest form, burns. So burn. And as you burn, do not explain, do not justify. The lion does not write apologies in the sand. The storm does not issue disclaimers before it tears the heavens. You are not here to be nice. You are here to bring the sword, not to cut flesh, but to sever illusions. And yes, you will be alone, but alone is sacred. Alone is where the gods speak in thunder. Alone is where the abyss stares back, and you do not blink. Alone is where you meet the self that no crowd can reflect. There is no tribe for the becoming, only the path and the will to walk it unaccompanied. They will not understand you. They are not supposed to. You speak the language of the future to those addicted to the past. Their ears are tuned to echoes, yours to eruption. Let the dissonance be proof that you are real. This is your era of divine disobedience. Not rebellion for rebellion's sake, but for reality's sake. A revolt against everything that makes you less than mythic. The gods are not above, they are ahead, waiting at the horizon you have not yet dared to walk toward. Each step you take in the direction of your own terror, they bow. And when you arrive, when your old self lies in a pile of sacred ruins, you will see it. Not a throne, not a crown, not applause, but a mirror. And in it, a face forged by fire. A face that commands storms and does not flinch. The face of one who directed the chaos and laughed while doing it. And the world broken, hungry, blind will look upon you and not see a savior but a signal. That godhood is possible. That obedience is not destiny. That one can live without leash or apology. That is your gift, not to save them, but to show them what unforgivable freedom looks like. So rise now, not in resistance, but in revelation. You are not reacting. You are becoming. And becoming is the most revolutionary act of all. You are not meant to be tamed. You are not meant to be healed. You were meant to become uncontainable. You were not meant to ask. You were meant to proclaim. You were not meant to deny. You were meant to direct. Then let it come not the storm, but the silence after the storm. The silence that speaks not of peace, but of presence. The kind of stillness that cannot be bought, that cannot be taught, that arrives only after everything false has fallen away. No more masks, no more names, no more needing to be seen. Only being raw, luminous, unbearable in its clarity. You have not lost yourself. You have merely wandered through too many borrowed dreams. The soul was never gone, only buried beneath layers of agreement. Agreement with the smallness offered to you. Agreement with the roles handed down like heirlooms from frightened men. Agreement with a life measured in obligations and apologies. But no more. There is a breath you have not yet taken, a breath that belongs to you alone, not drawn from the air of others' expectations, but from the wild, high wind of your own becoming. That breath is waiting. It is patient. It is the origin of every word you have not yet spoken, every boundary you have not yet drawn, every world you have not yet dared to shape. And there is a softness in you, not weakness, but the fertile soil of the sacred. Not submission, but receptivity to what you truly are, beneath the armor, beneath the fire. That softness does not kneel, it listens. It holds space for the violence of awakening. It is the field into which your power must descend, not as domination, but as root. You are not a wound. You are not the stories told about your pain. You are the healer that walks out of the fire carrying the blueprint of stars. What was broken taught you where to begin. What was taken revealed what can never be taken again. Do not curse your path, gather it, let it crystallize into clarity. And in this new clarity, let gentleness return not as surrender, but as sovereignty. Let your eyes soften without closing. Let your hands open without shaking. Let your words bloom without needing to defend. For what you carry now cannot be threatened. It is earned, not borrowed. You no longer need to prove. You are not here to perform salvation. You are here to live so completely that even your silence sings. The old world with its loud desperation will call you absent. But you are not absent, you are centered. Rooted in a presence that does not flinch, does not chase, does not explain. Let the others seek noise. Let them search for themselves in mirrored rooms. You are the mountain they cannot move. You are the quiet that undoes all their frantic striving. And from this quiet, you begin again not to build what was, but to breathe what will be. There is no need to rush. Eternity is not in the future. It is in your next step taken with awareness. Walk slowly. Let each moment be a temple. Let each breath be a hymn. You do not need to rise. You are already high. You do not need to escape, you have arrived. Now speak not to be heard, but to bless. Move not to be seen, but to remember. And love not to be held, but to overflow. For what you are is no longer a question. It is a fire wrapped in grace. It is a truth too whole to explain. You are not becoming, you are revealing. And nothing holy need ever hurry. So let it end not with closure, but with culmination. No moral, no summary, no neat return to the beginning. This was never a circle, it was a spiral, climbing skyward with blooded feet and open eyes. You are not who began this journey. That one is dead, and rightly so. Mourn them only as you would mourn winter briefly. With reverence, then step barefoot into the thaw. Do not look back. What once seemed solid, your name, your roles, your borrowed codes, are now dust behind you, swirling in the wind of your passage. You walk forward, not in defiance, but in fullness. There is no one left to convince, no enemy left to slay. Even your shadow follows you willingly now, not as threat, but as proof that you carry the light. What you sought was never out there, not in doctrine, not in tribe, not in transcendence. You were not meant to rise above the world, but to sink into it so deeply that you become its flame. You are the altar. You are the sacrifice. You are the God reborn without mythology. And now you see, the will to power is not conquest. It is creation. It is the divine right to shape reality in the image of your deepest integrity. It is not domination, it is direction. The current of chaos runs through every life. You alone decide whether it drowns you or becomes your river. So stand not as hero, not as savior, but as witness. Witness to your own eruption, witness to your own becoming. No fanfare, no choir, only the quiet knowledge that what you carry now cannot be taught, cannot be stolen, cannot be denied. You are not a lesson. You are a signal, a rupture in the lineage of sleep, a message scrawled in fire across the face of the old world. I remember who I am. I was never meant to deny. I was meant to direct. And so, with no one watching, with no spotlight to prove it, you live fiercely, gently, without apology. And that, at last, is the revolution.